Alright, welcome to another Pauper Daily. I've actually switched archetypes now, and I'm going to be giving Tortured Existence a spin. Kind of basically taking everything I like about the Value Town deck and putting it into this shell. If you've never seen the Namesake card, Tortured Existence lets you swap any creature in your hand for any creature in your graveyard for 1 black mana. So obviously that's very powerful with madness creatures and things like that, or creatures that come into play effects, or creatures that give you value if they're in your hand, or what have you. So I've kind of broken the deck down into categories. These are the main cogs that get you card advantage: Tortured Existence and Grave Scrabbler. When you discard Grave Scrabbler, you get a 2/2, and if it's Madness cost was paid, which means you discarded it, you get a creature back. So it's like a Gravedigger for 2 mana. But if you discarded it to Tortured Existence, you also get the creature you targeted with Tortured Existence. So you're really getting a 3-for-1 with this guy, instead of like just 2-for-1. Wild Mongrel is the best kind of card in this sort of deck because it fits the beatdown plan and the discard plan. It can give you an outlet to put your Root Wallas or your Grave Scrabblers into play when you don't have Tortured Existence. And this column here is just kind of beaters in general. You can see I got the Wild Mongrels, the Root Wallas are pretty good, and Putrid Leech is basically a 4/4 for 2 against most decks. So you can really get your beat on in a hurry. This column is full of dredgers. Golgari Brownscale is kind of key because you can basically, these guys make it to where if they're in your graveyard, you are guaranteed to draw a creature every single turn. Once you have Tortured Existence up and running, that basically means you can chain together any of your other effects, which are in this pile. Stinkweed Imp is considered the best because he lets you dredge 5, so if you're trying to find a specific answer card, like this Sylvok Replica or whatever against Affinity or Crypt Rats, that gives you the highest chance of finding it. I've actually found that I like the Brownscale a lot too, because I don't like to dredge a whole lot of cards out, especially if I'm playing against Relic or something. And you do gain 2 life every time you dredge it. With Tortured Existence, you can chain together, like you can Existence 1 Brownscale for another, and you'll gain 2 life each time you do that, which is really good against aggressive decks. As far as utility cards, Fume Spitter handles Infect. You can dredge that guy back all day long. Augur of Skulls you can replay against combo and control. Crypt Rats against Goblins and White Weenie, Chittering Rats against the control deck. The Crows and Tusker you can cycle over and over again, and you can dredge off the cycle if you need to find more ammo. And Replica's good in the mirror and against Affinity and things like that. Echoing Decay as a 2-of is just kind of a nod to the need for some removal and this deck's being slow and having trouble setting up. It's also good against Empty the Warrens. I have the other 2 in the sideboard. The sideboard features 3 duress effects to shore up that weak combo matchup and potentially control. 2 more Fume Spitters for Infect and an Edict effect. This should probably be Diabolic Edict, but it's a ticket and a half, and I don't think the difference is that large. A 3rd Brownscale for when you really want to have one for aggro decks. Brindle Boar is great against Burn. It's also reasonable against Goblins. A lot of decks, just like red decks, just scoop if you get this guy going on a loop. I have the 2nd and 3rd Augur of Skulls because they're just fine cards in general against blue-based decks and against combo. They help you to be more disruptive in tandem with the duresses. Like, you can keep a hand without Tortured Existence if you have like duress and an Augur and a couple beaters, and you'll probably just get there. In playtesting, I've been happy with the deck's Plan A, but there's no real card draw, and it's really hard to find a Tortured Existence if you don't start with one. So Plan B leaves a lot to be desired because Leech and Wild Mongrel and stuff are really easily outclassed by a lot of the removal. 2 more Replicas. These are for Affinity. They're also for destroying Tortured Existences in the mirror because, as I've mentioned, there's no way to get them back. I think that about covers it. So yeah. So we're going to get into a daily. We're going to lose some tickets. And we're going to learn about this deck and about what we like and what we don't like, and hopefully it's just a lot of fun.